Hi guys, welcome to, well, hold up. Let me just get my blanket together. I have a blanket on my legs because I'm wearing shorts right now and I'm kind of cold. Also, my shirt is kind of cute. It's gone through a lot of washes. That's why it looks kind of dingy. But like, I think it's really cute. Hi, today, welcome. It is Amina. I am your underwhelming film kit. As a youth, as a child, as a little youngin' out here in these streets, there were certain Disney films, particularly princess films, two in particular, possibly a third, that I just could not get behind. There was another movie where it was like, I didn't outwardly hate it as much as I hated Cinderella, but I didn't like it. Like, I would swallow it down because my mother loved this film, but I was like, something feels off to me. Something doesn't feel right. Something in the water isn't okay. That movie was called Beauty and the Beast. And as time went on, I sat there and I kept thinking about it, and I was, I guess, like plotting, like, what about this movie I didn't like? Something about it messed with my spirit, and I could not explain to many people why it infuriated me. As I've been reading things, because I got back on Wattpad for some odd reason. There's a reason I took it off my phone. There is a reason why I took it off of my phone, because when I download it, nothing gets done. But the thing with Beauty and the Beast is, I started realizing as I started getting older, is that I don't buy it. We get that, like, they fall in love questionably, but there's a time when, like, you're watching it and I'm like, in my spirit, I could not put together how she falls in love with a man who just had her dad in his dungeon like 3 days ago. Even though I wasn't as close with my dad as I am now, like when I was younger, but something about that didn't sit right with me. Like, you literally had one of my parents in your dungeon and you were just like screaming at me for like no reason. And I was supposed to buy that we fell in love because, like, you saved me. Because again, we're gonna go through this because you know the story, but parts of me in my being, I couldn't just let it sit. I couldn't let it sit and let it be. He basically kidnaps her. It's not like as blatant as I think we expect it to be, but like, he still kidnaps her. Like, he's basically like, you can stay here. Once she's like, I'll volunteer as tribute, she's like, I'll volunteer in place of my dad. He's like, cool, I guess. Bye, dad. Kicks him out the house. We're talking to like the original, although I probably will bring in that live action as well. Then he gets her a room, which I guess, like, that's nice. I don't have to stay in here with like the stack of hay in the corner. I mean, like, thanks. Again, Belle's not part of like his inner planning or anything. She's just kind of like a prisoner as far as he knows. In my brain, I'm like, hold up, so you're telling me that you're keeping her because you realize that she can fulfill some type of prophecy, and that's why you get her a better room? Like, she does nothing about you, but you're somehow like convinced that you could happen to let her fall in love with you. Just happen to. You know, it's whatever. You get a nicer room, but you still can't leave the castle. Fantastic. Also, you yell at me to join you for dinner, but I mean, like, screaming at me like, join me for dinner, and I say no because I don't want to spend my dinner with a dude who's just a butthole and just yells all the time. And then you're like, well, fine, then you can start. You don't eat with me, you don't eat at all. And I'm just confused. Like, again, I don't want to be yelled at, so you make your point by yelling at me. Maybe there's just something built different in me. There were things that, like, they would try to tell me were very cute as an adolescent and as, like, even now, and I'm sitting here like, yelling is not a thing for me. Don't raise your voice at me, because if you sit there and you yell at me, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, I know you were not talking to me. That apparently all of your furniture and some of your silverware are basically like, he's not that bad of a guy, he's just going through a lot. Fun fact, this is also like the whole dark past thing that they've been shoving down our throats, because like, he wasn't always this mean. Not always. He can be a little hard to love. She runs away because she's in a part of this house that she's not supposed to be. I will say, if you say don't go down there, like don't go, but he's also kind of like suspicious about it. And she's like being nosy, so again, doing stuff just to be dumb because she's stubborn. But then like he saves her, and it's not that I don't think he shouldn't have compassion, it's just like, why? Like, you saved me and I'm grateful that you saved me, but nothing hinted that I wanted you to, that you should have done anything. Like, I guess you felt bad for yelling at me, which I mean, like, thanks, dude. But then, like, also Belle's a better person than I am, because as soon as this dude dropped, my ass would have been gone. He drops and I'm like, bye. Maybe this is why maybe this is why nothing good will happen to me. I don't know. But like, homegirl would have been gone. But she's like, you know what? I'm gonna save him back. I don't know, a tit for tat kind of thing. But she's like, all right, hop on my horse. I'll take you back. I'll clean up your wounds, you know, for saving me. And then when she saves him, which also threw me as a child, is I'm like, she kind of makes no negotiations to leave. Like, there's no them being like, hey, I brought you back here. Can I at least leave like once a week? Nothing. Okay. Also, I guess to make me feel somewhat happier about having all of like my things being, I guess what made me feel happy about all of my things being taken away, you're now like, I'll let you use this library full of books, which I'm like, great, we love a girl who reads, but like all you gave me was a library and not freedom to leave. Then at some point, I don't know why this like bugs me, but it does. Also, okay, this is also like a whole thing, but like essentially they kind of like start to like each other during a montage, which, you know what, like Disney standards is like 3 days. Like, I don't think if we're going by like Disney standards for what this montage was, it was longer than a week. Like, she starts to be like, he's nice, he's not as bad, in like a week after he gave her a library. And I'm like, you know what, thanks for the dope library, but like, do I not have other interests? I mean, I guess, and we walk around the grounds now, so I guess it's fine. We like tweet to birds. We feed them. I tell you to stop being so mean. And then apparently they just like cool all of a sudden. Like, I don't know why they're cool, they're just cool. Then at some point you realize that I actually have family that I want to see, which is bonkers to me because you actively remember kicking her dad out of the dungeon. So it was kind of bonkers that you're just like, oh yeah, she does have people she wants to see. Like her father, that she literally said, kick rocks. The whole thing that really gets me to this day is the whole fact that like, all of this happens, the reason he gets her a bigger room is that literally his homies are like, bro, she's a girl, she could fulfill the prophecy. And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, I think we should do it. So like, I don't know, make her happy and maybe she'll love you. And that's already enough for me and my tiny brain, because I couldn't just let stuff slide as a youngin'. I don't know, I just kept asking way too many questions. Like, you're not supposed to question things, but like, I asked too many questions. Like, oh, why? Why did she like him? I mean, like, he got her library, they read some stuff, she drank some soup with him. I don't know if that's enough to guarantee me liking you, dude. Essentially, that entire storyline spawned many tropes and genres, specifically on Wattpad. So we're bringing up Wattpad because as I was watching 365 DNI with my friend, 365 Days in English, I kind of, first I was like, this is nothing but Beauty and the Beast. And then I realized, oh no, there's an entire genre of this mess on Wattpad. And like, you know, sometimes they're a bit tamer, but there's something very specifically with like the whole mafia gangster trope of this. Because the dude's no longer a beast. Like, he's not ugly. He's actually pretty fine looking, if I do say so myself, you know. But the issue comes in is that, like, it's not that he's ugly, it's just that he's into some questionable shit. Their dark past makes them kind of questionable. Again, that dark past trope coming up again. Usually the kidnappee is kidnapped for, okay, there usually is a kidnappee. Usually kidnapped because, well, usually kidnappee is a woman. Usually because she saw something she wasn't supposed to see. Usually because they saw something they weren't supposed to see. And they were cute. Like, that's the whole reason that they were kidnapped, because literally dude was like, okay, I could kill her, you know, so no witnesses, you know, which would be like the more smart thing to do. But they're just like, hold up, she kind of thick. I bet you she could be my girl. And we're like, okay. I mean, like, I guess. I mean, like, if you're fugly, this is not your, you ain't part of this. You have to be cute, usually a little thick. And it's very interesting because I think when I saw 365 Days, I kind of laughed to myself because I was like, I watched it on Friday and I was like, dead ass, I read this entire plot on Monday. Usually your dude is still withdrawn. Your homie, your beast character is still withdrawn for some reason. He's just like in the shadows. He's like, my dark past, I don't want it to affect you, but also I like you and I'm trying to like smash, but also it might not be safe, but also please enter my bed. Can you make up your mind? Oh yeah, homegirl, again, because she's kidnapped, she cannot leave of her own free will. If she's allowed to leave, it's usually because she can't leave without main dude, or she cannot leave without someone designated to go with her places. Usually friends and or co-workers of said gangster boss man, mafia man, are usually just like, he's not that bad, he just has a hard time, he has a dark past. Also, there's usually like a Lumiere character, like the freaking candlestick, who's usually just, he kind of ping pongs a bit. So he'll be with a girl and he's like, listen, I know it kind of sucks, but I want you to be safe here. And here's all the stuff that her main man isn't getting to you. While he goes to the man and he's like, listen, she's feeling some type of way, but also I think you could be nicer to her. And it's like the fact that this person has to be like, maybe you should be nicer. What a concept. To be nice to your kidnappee so hopefully they don't run away. Just be nice in general. We don't have to kidnap her. We could have just went on dates, but like, no, we got a kidnapper in our house, so now she can't leave. Oh yeah, also there's usually like a rescue of the female character. I'm going with like male and female here, or like man and woman. Maybe I should say man and woman to be more specific, because I feel like I spend a little too much time on like that side of Wattpad. I should expand my reading list. But usually it's like over domineering man with like submissive woman. Usually there's a rescue of the woman character by a man character, usually due to something that woman character tries to prove a point on and it backfires. So it's like kind of like that time, remember, where like, I can't say remember because we just talked about where like Belle runs off into the snow and she gets surrounded by wolves, but like instead they'll do something to make man mad, so they'll be like, ha, how about I go flirt with so and so, but then dude gets a little too touchy grabby and they're like, wait a second, this isn't right. And then I'm just like, but why is that our weapon of choice today? Why is sexual assault our weapon of choice today? And it's always okay, especially like in the mafia, like billionaire, that whole gangster. It's because like there's a nice little happy medium like with the billionaire, but that also kind of leads to like supernatural boyfriend tropes. I'll do a video about that at some point. But like it kind of gets like the mafia gangster dude, and usually it's sexual assault they saving her from. Very rarely like is it ever just like a possibility of her dying. It's just like someone will steal your virtue, and I'm like, huh, that's slightly problematic. And then also there's usually some type of event that is supposed to lead up to like them kind of exposing their feelings, where like in Beauty and the Beast is them like the ball dancing in like her yellow dress and they're like dancing in the ballroom. One of the stories I just read, it was like some event they had, it was like something like for charity, it was something stupid, and then like 365 DNI is just like it's 365 days, but there's also like a masquerade ball, so like there's an event. No, in 365 days it's the masquerade ball that kind of like hints at like liking you a bit more, you know. And then also again it's like the realization that like they have other people that they care about that are not just you. So it's like, it's interesting because you'll see these characters and like it's not like it's rocket science. Like watching 365 DNI, he was just basically like, I'll let you go see your friend, I think her name was Olga, and I'm like, cool, we're seeing Olga. Problem is that you also like kidnapped me from my vacation, and you knew that I also had a boo, so you knew I wasn't here like by myself. Best friend was also here, but like, why did this just now occur to you that I might have people I want to see? Like, Why is that our tipping point? Usually your man character will feel this liking first. It's not so much that like, it might be I love you, it might be I love you by this point, but like the woman usually doesn't feel that right off the back, so it's just kind of like you're toying with her and into liking you a little bit, trying to get to know her. And it's different when like you're toying with me to get to that point rather than me getting to that point by myself. And then I think the biggest issue with this is that now we have like this trope that has now affected like a generation of women who now think this is cute, who think like, oh yeah, he really felt something, but they kind of forgot that he kidnapped you. So I think we should be throwing hands a little bit faster than what we're doing, like being like, oh, he's kind of nice. In 365 DNI, it was the boat scene, and I'm like, I guess it's nice that we got there. Problem is that I still had to get kidnapped for it. Like, we couldn't just like meet our way. We couldn't have like a nice dinner. No, I got kidnapped for it. But like, you know, also they're usually rich. So like, you know, me and my broke people problems, what do I understand? Usually they're like insanely creepy. Massimo in 365 is very creepy. Like, don't walk up on me in the middle of the night talking about, are you lost, baby girl? Because I will smack the mess out of you. Don't walk up on me talking about, are you lost, baby girl? There's also a random thing now that I think it kind of evolved, because like, you know, we couldn't really do this with Disney because Disney's still Disney, but like now they're like weirdly possessive in like the worst way possible. They'll be like, where are you going? Where are you sitting at? Why are you trying to leave me? And I'm like, again, I don't really have a choice in staying here. I just talk to people who come to my room who sometimes feed me. And you're just like, why are you talking to that person, huh? Why are you going over there? Where are you going? I don't like you wearing that. And I'm like, huh? So like, essentially, Beauty and the Beast spawned like a whole entire problematic trope, and I don't think this is what Disney intended. I mean, like, there are like certain things that can be cute. Like, it's nice that she gets to know him for the inside, but again, I'm still kidnapped. I don't really get a role in this. I'm just here. I just kind of want to go home. And I know this is going to be like me rambling, and this will probably be like one of my shortest videos ever. I hope to God it is. But these are some of my issues that I have with Beauty and the Beast. We can probably do like a longer video essay if you want it at any point. I'll be highly surprised if you do. We can go talk about why I don't really like Cinderella. And I have like some slight beef with like Little Mermaid. They're not the worst, they're just slightly problematic, and I think people kind of overlook it because while people are like, it's not Stockholm Syndrome, and I'm like, sure, it's not, but like, okay, sure, I'll give it to you. Maybe it's not quite Stockholm Syndrome because I don't really know a lot about Stockholm Syndrome, but I'm still like, again, why are my options being kidnapped to fall in love with you? Or in some cases, the more extreme cases in these Wattpad stories, why is it stay with you or die? And there's usually, and I think what's more interesting, that there's only maybe like one or two versions. Like, okay, I don't say one, two, but like a few versions I can accept of like these earlier movies. So for like Beauty and the Beast, I'm not a big fan of the Disney versions. Like the second, like the remake was pretty decent. I liked it a bit more than an animated version, but like the one I do like the most is like the French one that came out a few years ago. But anyway, you know, like I can be cheesy, but this ain't it. This ain't it. No. You know, you're gonna be grabbing up on me, smacking me around, kidnapping me, trying to find me for 5 years, and I'm supposed to think this entire thing is just sexy. Also, the timing, because I remember when I was watching this movie, I was like, maybe a max of 3 weeks have passed since she got kidnapped, and now she's sleeping with them. And then I was kind of proven correct, because homegirl was like, you've been with this man barely 2 months, and I was like, oh, why am I right? Is 3 weeks enough for you guys to get over someone kidnapping you? I'm just curious. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully it will be a commentary, but we don't really know what life it's gonna bring me. So thank you. Bye.